My name is Chase, and I want to tell you a story. I work for a company called Cover My Meds, and every year a grant competition is held for all employees to participate in. It's called Cover My Quest. The setup is simple. Each employee that enters gets 3 minutes to pitch their idea of what they would do with the grant money if they're chosen. It could be a donation for a local cause, conquering a fear, or going on a quest you've dreamt of your entire life. The winners are picked based on their idea and their presentation. I've competed in the grant program every year since its inception, and lost each time. But this year would be different. Instead of making my pitch in person, I created a video. Have you ever had a dream? I did, and I still do. For most of my life, I've sang songs written by other people. But in the fall of 2005, I decided to start singing music of my own. With the help of one of my best friends, Anthony Dillard, I co-founded the band My Beloved Tragedy, and our success was immediate. In less than a year, we went from playing our first show at the small Scarlet and Grey Cafe to the historic Newport Music Hall. But that was only the beginning. Our band went on to record 3 EPs and 1 full-length album. We opened up for acts like Jurassic 5, The Spill Canvas, and Jason Mraz. We left our homes and jobs to go on tour in the Midwest and the East Coast. But sometimes life takes over. Priorities change as we get older. As time went on, life got in the way of music. I watched my band slowly fall apart, and in the summer of 2013, My Beloved Tragedy played what would be our last show. I said goodbye to my dreams that night. That is, until last year. What started out as a project to play a few open mic nights quickly became something new, something more. I was joined by Kristen Green, a good friend from college. A week later, another friend, Tommy Davis, joined us. I've been playing music with Tommy since MBT's first show. And more recently, Nick Reyes joined us on percussion. I worked with Nick at Apple. He's a good dude. And along the way, we've gotten help from a few guest musicians. Josh Oswald, Dave Humiston, Ash Watkins, Alex Ford, and even my best bud, Anthony. We dubbed ourselves So Long Stargazer. We wanted to capture the sense of wonder you get when you look into the sky. It feels like old days all over again, but we are limited because we have no recorded music. Right now, we rely on relationships established during my time with MBT to get us shows, but it's becoming increasingly difficult to book shows without recorded music. It's even harder to grow a fan base if our current supporters can't share what we've created with their friends. If you select me as one of the 4 winners of Cover My Quest, I'll use the grant money to record So Long Stargazer's first album. We'll team up with Joe Veers at the Sonic Lounge to create something I think would be magical, and we'll document the entire experience so that Cover My Meds employees and followers can see what it's like to bring an album to life. Here's a breakdown of how we'd spend the grant. Help me create something great, something wonderful. Look up Stargazer. And that was it. I played my video for the judges, I thanked them, and I sprinted out of the room. When the judges came to a consensus, word traveled across the office pretty fast. I stood at my desk, and I was terrified. One by one, I heard celebrations, claps, screams. When it all died down, I figured I lost. I started packing my bag to go home for the day. And when I turned around to leave, I saw the judges standing right in front of me with a giant check. I won. We won. And the adventure began. Since you already know me, I'd like my bandmates to introduce themselves to you.
My name is Nick Ray, and I play the drums.
Hi, this is Tommy Davis. I'm the lead guitarist for Solo and Stargazer.
My name is Kristen Green. I play piano, and sometimes they let me sing.
They'll be helping me tell the story. So as soon as we learned that we won the grant, we got to work immediately. Having been a band for over a year and a half at that point, we had collected enough songs to create an album. But we wanted to do something more than just release a bunch of songs.
Chase had wanted to do a concept album, and as we were writing the new material, I don't know how he did it or if he was just kind of like putting them together like a puzzle, and it dawned on him like, hey, wait a minute, in this order, this is the way that it goes. Like, he just lined them up right one day, and there it was.
We arranged the songs into 3 acts. Each song within an act would flow from one to another, so that there wasn't a break in music. The only breaks were between acts, and we wanted a little surprise if the listener put the album on repeat. Although we were fortunate to have the grant, recording 14 songs would put us over budget. So, we thought of a way to cut costs without cutting music tracks.
So I have like 3 years of experience with audio engineering, using Apple's Logic Pro software. Having recorded my friends before, you can do home studio stuff pretty reasonably these days. So the opportunity to save money in the studio by laying down tracks where you don't need the acoustic track necessarily seemed like a no-brainer to me. If we're going to be taking MIDI for the song, we might as well lay it down in advance rather than lay it down in the studio, because you're paying by the hour there. But the consensus when we left after our initial meeting at the studio was we were going to do as much as possible before we got to the studio to get all of our bass tracks laid out, as many of Kristen's key parts laid out as we could, so that the actual time spent recording would be kept to a minimum.
To save time, we recorded all of my piano parts ahead of time. I think we did 2, 4 or 5 hour days of this, which I remember just being a little paranoid already about it, just because I thought, people are going to be so creative in the studio and they're going to have the feedback of the engineer, and I just thought, man, I'm going to record this now, and when we get there I'm going to be so inspired by what everyone else is doing, and I'm not going to be able to go back and redo anything.
Recording the bass and keys on our own saved us time in the studio, but things didn't always go as expected.
Our second day of recording, I think we did about 5, maybe 6 hours, where I finished laying down all of my piano parts, and Chase did, I think, all of his synth parts 6 hours later. And then we go back to listen to the recording, and
Well, is this the only track that did that? Is the other one?
I still don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Something in the MIDI man, just the transferring between the instruments and the computer, something just went haywire, and it was just nothing useful at all.
We ended up having to re-record everything again. It wasn't fun, but it was worth it.
It's time! Are you guys excited?
Yes. Yeah.
Nick, you excited?
For what?
Is there for driving to Grove City?
I'm so excited for driving.
Walking into the Sonic Lounge with all our gear felt incredible. I mean, it had been years since Tommy and I set foot in that studio, but it felt so familiar to us.
I guess third time of going back to Sonic Lounge. I don't know. The second time I went there, I mean, you walk in and you just feel comfortable, like you feel like at home. Like, and I want to say the third time it felt the same way. I was, excited, confident, and I don't know, just like hanging out at home. It was very comfortable.
Joe's got a really nice studio down there. Sonic Lounge is a really, really nice studio. So I loaded out into the main room and set up my kit, go into it, and it just sounds massive. And it was so good. And you listen to it and knew what our music needed to make it that much better.
What'd you think?
The first time through was clean, but I liked the chorus in the second time through.
Mm-hmm.
But the second time through was a little, there were just things in it that were like,
Joe will have so many ideas. You'll work with him, and you'll lay stuff down, and Joe will have this fucking great idea and stuff, something you couldn't even think of at the time. And he's really good at basically you'll have a structure of how the song go, and he'll come in and have all kinds of cool ideas and stuff. Some of them will agree, some of them disagree and stuff, but he's always been great to work with.
Well, Joe makes everyone feel comfortable, like right off the bat. I knew that it was going to be the absolute best it could be with him. Just, he's a genius. I went in the weekend where we were going to be doing vocals. I'd been feeling sick the week before, but we'd done drums and guitar, and I remember thinking, I've got a whole week to get over this, and it just got worse and worse. So vocals are already what I'm more self-conscious about, so add to that the fact that my voice didn't feel strong at all. I was so paranoid, and I was really scared that we were not going to be able to get anything good out of it. So I drank a lot of tea and had a lot of cough drops, and Joe was super nice and just really supportive. Yeah, it came out great.
And then there was me. I wasn't nervous. This marked my third time working with Joe. I knew he'd be able to capture the sound we were looking for and take it even further. After 2 weekends of recording, our job was finished. Soon, Joe started sending us the finished tracks, and let me tell you, we weren't prepared for just how incredible it would be.
I think we all were just like, I think Kristen almost started crying. I mean, you were all enjoying. I think Nick might have wept a little bit, and I think I was the only one that didn't cry. But I was still feeling the same way. Everybody just super freaking ecstatic and just blown away that this was us. That we did it. This is what we've been wanting to do we did it.
Once we had the entire album in our hands, we sent it to be duplicated. We also had t-shirts and stickers made. We chose Woodlands Tavern as our venue and immediately started selling tickets to the show. I was shocked at just how many people came out to support us.
We measure ourselves in years gone by. When do we take our time?
When the day of the show came, well, it was all a blur. Our good friends the Devil Doves and Electro Cult Circus opened for us. And then it was our turn. And then it was over. We played to a packed house, and we sold half of our stock of CDs in a single night. But that wasn't the most important thing. You see, Cover My Quest gave me and my friends another shot at creating our own music. It allowed us to share that music with the people we love and expand our base of supporters. I couldn't be more thankful that my quest was chosen, and I can't wait to see who we'll pass the baton to for Cover My Quest 2016. Well, until then, look up, Stargazers.